Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this through an email, and it's a horseshoe, and it's a horse and a cowboy. And ironically, I found the exact picture on the internet. I mean, the exact cowboy. Makes life really easy. But if you didn't find that cowboy, there's a way to get this cowboy off or to trace. And all I did was, you can find horses on the internet. You can find, like, here's my horseshoe. It's a bitmap. Trace bitmap, outline, trace Clipart. Traces it that fast, and you have a horseshoe. I meant to make a yellow box. So I guess the reason for the video is think outside the box. Don't think you have to use, there are some little holes in there. One way you can cure that, left click, right click, see the holes. But before I would do that on this particular horseshoe is, you've got some nodes that I think are left over from being squished up in the Clipart. Let's go and group and you've got to click on it first. Object, group, and ungroup. Then you can grab it with shape tool and just get rid of those two nodes to make it a longer arch. There's something going on with this one right here. Anyway, you get the same thing at the bottom. You know, this is, I think, remnants of when it was clipped art into a square box. And then just take your smart fill tool, set on black, and voila, you have your horseshoe. So, yeah, it's different than that horseshoe, but you could find horseshoes. And I've done it already using this horseshoe, and you could actually make the horseshoe, thinner or wider or whatever you needed it. But if you didn't find this cowboy, and I just found it, I guarantee it'll work. I didn't use it on the first one. I used another horse and this cowboy. But what you could do is take a box and put it around that cowboy and select them both, and well, you could just crop it out too. I hadn't thought about that. You could just, with it selected so everything else won't disappear, go to crop and just crop that cowboy out. Now, something that didn't trace very well will trace. We'll go ahead and convert it to a bitmap so it will trace. Trace bitmap, outline, trace, Clipart. What I use 99% of the time. That looks like it didn't work, but it did. So you've got an outline of that cowboy. That didn't work out so well as I'd planned, or as I did last night when I was doing it, but I guarantee it works. Let's see how well this cowboy, and all I did is I went to the internet and typed in Clipart, cowboy setting with horse. Then I went my tools and I made it large. Because if you're going to get a file, might as well be a large one when you start searching. Go to black and white, because you're going to want black and white, and then search it, and you're going to come up with this cowboy. Right click, copy image. Left click, paste image. It's huge. It's a good file. So what we can do is reduce this. I'm kind of disappointed because I'd come up a way to make the grass, and now I can still add some grass to this. But if we take this picture and trace it, first of all, before we do that, let's go to bitmap and resample. It's $1,200 per inch because it was already big, and then I reduced it in size. It should trace quite well. And it's almost there, it's done. There's your trace version. It's going to have some white in it. And always nice to use the yellow box or back a page. So you can see the white that's in there. And this person is evidently maybe he's a plasma cutter because he's going to cut this out anyway. So just take it now and go to Effects, Group, and ungroup it, and then just take your white and just delete it. There's a little bit of white between the cowboy. Now, don't worry about these. Matter of fact, that's probably for a pin. What we're going to do now is we're going to make this a wire hairline, and we're just going to take those two holes out. Get your Smart Fill tool again. There you have a flat bottom. Now all you need to do, you've got your ingredients, and all we have to do is type in the word welcome. I left part of the W back there. I don't like that. So take your horse and your man, make him as big as possible, because that's kind of the idea behind the whole thing. Kind of look at him. We can move him over a little bit and still make him bigger. I'm actually going to tilt it up a little bit. Then, tell you what, let's do this. Select it all, left click, right click. We want all this to be solid anyway. So what we're going to do is take our virtual segment delete key and just delete right through there. Okay? Matter of fact, we want to think about this. So I even have a slope, but this is a different horse than the rider or the one that we're doing. How am I going to get rid of that line? If I get rid of that line, the whole thing's going to go away. Well, the whole thing can go away. It's just part of the shoe. There you go. Then type in welcome, all caps. Pick a font you like. I think last night I used block letters. You could use almost any. One thing I like for I'm trying to whenever you have a word and you can't remember what the font is, but we're close, just type in the first letter of the word. Maybe I don't even have that font anymore on my newer computer. Anyway, we'll just use block letter. I was going to use, I think it's copper plate. But anyway, we'll just use this, and we'll go ahead and go left click, right click. Well, I'm having trouble getting red today. And then put that in there. You don't really want to take up your holes, but you could also move these holes. There's nothing particularly great about it. Go up to Object, break curve apart, and maybe make these holes further apart. I would actually, if I was going to do this, especially in a plasma cutter, I would, even though horseshoe shoe holes aren't really round, I'd make them round and just replace them with round holes. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. You got to remember, and this could work for a laser engraver too. You know, just take both these holes and Control D to duplicate it. Hit the plus key on your keyboard so it won't go off again. And then just mimic that on the other side. You know, I forgot there was one more. And you'd want to space them out perfectly and take your time. But that looks pretty good. And one thing you could do is you can select all these, and mirror it and put it on the other side, and at least they'd be equal. One thing I did not do is hold down the control button, but I did group these together. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and hit key, and that put them all at the top. And then while they're still selected, if I set my nudge factor on like 0.2, I could reselect them holding down the shift, and I can nudge them both down as the same. Whoa, 0.2 is pretty little, pretty big. Anyway, you get the idea. Let's change that though. 0.01. There we go. And you'd want to change that up. Now, I don't like the way I squished the horseshoe up too much. But that's beside the point. Now make your nudge factor this size. At least 4 inches, let's say. Because we're going to smart fill this with black. And I'm going to nudge it down, and then nudge that down. And there is your completed item. And so I guess what I'm saying is don't take what the customer gives you. Well, he just found this. He's like me. And now if you're a laser engraver, this will work. If you're a plasma cutter, that's going to be pretty thin. Other than that, I like it. And I would not squish the cowboy or the horseshoe as much. And it all depends on your size. And then especially if you're going to, if you're going to cut this out and it's going to be 15 inches, 15 by 11 on a plasma cutter, that's not too big. I would actually probably cut it out bigger. But that would also look, you could cut that in your laser at any size and then paint it black. And you've got that. That would look pretty cool. Take away the outline so it'll look better. Anyway, I hope that gave him some ideas, or maybe you too. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.